Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snowfield Charm School, which is also a temple of Aphrodite. I'm your host and oracle, Evangeline, and I'm going to do a reading for you today. Um, if you've been following me, there's going to be a little bit of back and forth. Don't mind that. Sometimes you'll see me, sometimes you won't. Um, hopefully, hopefully you can adjust to whichever one shows up. I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm just gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna lay out a case study. I'm not even gonna like shuffle too hard about it. Um, I'm just gonna start getting some things out there so we can start talking about some stuff. I do all my tarot card readings um, based off personality types. Um, I get a lot of my personality or categorization from the DSM-5 that focuses on disorders, but I like to think of personality as a spectrum. So you can be on one side disorder, on the other side you can be well aligned. And I think that well alignment has to do with more about who you are interacting with and not about your personality. I try not to judge too harshly on personalities as they are. Well, and if I do, I try to focus it more on the energy. I might have not been doing such a good job of that in my previous videos. But I'm trying to, this whole little process is so that we can start appreciating the personalities that are around us. I go a little hard on the narcissistic energies, but they are in the romantic resistance. So because I'm in the romantic category and I am an oracle Aphrodite, I do have to put a little bit of my resistance into it too. I have to, it's basically, I kind of have to stand my ground. And sometimes that's going to be a little bit of like a calling out. Try not to dog anybody about anything, but, if you watch this and you're a narcissist and I dog you, then I don't know why you're here. I'm just gonna be like pretty blunt about it. I'm like, I don't know why it is that you are watching this. Stop coming into the Temple of Aphrodite. You're not really welcomed. You're not really welcomed. The antisocial and the obsessive are also not really welcomed here. You're not really welcomed here. You're throwing off the vibe, and we're all vibe based here. So, sorry, I guess. There's plenty of temples for you to go to if you're a narcissist. The temple of who would be a good deity for the narcissist to go to for advice? I can say at least the antisocial, the temple of Aries is going to be a good place for you to go. As far as the obsessive, the temple of Hera is a really great place for you to be. I would say the temple of Athena would also be welcoming of the obsessive personality spectrum. Trying to think of some other thing. I feel like the temple of Poseidon could also be a good place for the antisocial spectrum. As far as the narcissist, the temple of Zeus might be a good place for you to go. Trying to think of anybody else. I think the temple of Artemis could be a good place for you to go to as an antisocial. I wouldn't go there if you were assigned male at birth. She doesn't tend to like that. As far as the narcissists go, I mean, the temple of Zeus. don't know. Maybe do some research. I mean, you got plenty of time on your hands to be manipulating people's emotions. Maybe use some of that time to seek out a temple for you. Um, Definitely would stop go. I would stop going to the temple of Aphrodite. Definitely don't come here. Definitely don't come here. Um, we have the strength card as like kind of like the reason why we're here, or the reason why our client is here, or looking for advice. So this is like kind of to keep going, energy, like to stay strong. um, our main character or client, or however you want to describe it, is going to be the Two of Cups. um, so this is giving me a little bit of dependent energy. We also have the Eight of Wands as the background. So this is someone who's gone through like a very fast-paced childhood or background, like very fast-paced environment that they were once in. As far as their aspiration goes, we have the Ace of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. So this is someone who aspires to, I mean, or not eight, this is seven. Sevens are all about struggle, so struggle for abundance. And the Ace of Cups, so this is someone who is like trying to, their goal is to, it's an interesting goal, but their goal is to like kind of like struggle in emotions, social situations, to put everything out there. I mean, yeah, dependent, to be used, to feel useful, to be of use, I would say. It's a little bit like, aw, this is cute. They came to the temple of Aphrodite, so that they could be in love no matter what it costs. Aw, poor thing. That's not how it works here, but don't worry, we'll talk about it. As far as the emotions go, we have the Eight of Pentacles, like I kind of said before. This is why I guess I said the Eight of Pentacles, because we're going to talk about it. But we have the Eight of Pentacles here, and this is again someone who like currently is working really, really hard. I mean, I guess they're here so that they cannot struggle, or they're trying to understand why they're struggling. They're putting a lot of effort into it. Why is it not working out? We also have the Emperor here connecting to the struggle. I mean, eights are impulse. We have impulse in material value, and then we have struggle in material value. The impulse for balance and the struggle for abundance. So yeah, this is someone who's trying to fill the void here, with the struggle attached to the Emperor. It is this is like kind of meeting the demands. This is like, yeah, this is someone who's like kind of like, you might be in a relationship if you're watching this and identify as the dependent here. If you don't know, I do all my tarot card readings based off a 12 type personality system. We have 4 groups. We have the romantic, the unromantic, the romantic resistant, and the romantic desperate. The dependent energy that I'm seeing here resides in the romantic dependent, or not dependent, romantic desperate. So, so you could be in a relationship already. I'm not surprised by this, for a dependent. And your relationship might be like kind of like being exceptionally demanding in some sense. Which, you know, it does seem like you might be in a relationship with an antisocial, so we could talk about both of them. The pairing is not surprising, it is just a little unfortunate. On the side where they're working really, really hard, it's an impulse to balance the emotions in the relationship. I'll say that. So you're kind of playing as like counselor. does not, like, you can, I'm not saying that you can't be a counselor based off your personality or whatever, but counselors tend to embody the personality of stable, so it's very unmoved, um, which can be, if misaligned, it can be very enabling. If well aligned, it's a more of a feedback sounding board type of energy. Um, for the dependent doing this, um, as a counseling role, you're going to be rather reactive to the disagreeable energy. You're going to put a lot of that blame on yourself. So you're going to force yourself to work really hard or sacrifice things for the situation. On the side of you working really hard, the impulse to balance, we have the Five of Wands and the Sun. So this is like kind of like, well, if I can keep the battle up, basically, like you're kind of like, it's almost like you're fighting for your life, but the notion that if I fight through this, everything will turn out right, or the hope or the reason why you're fighting or being fought is, and I would say fighting, because of that desperate energy. Um, you're desperate for this relationship to work, and you think that if you can do everything to make it work, kind of like a borderline will do, um, you're desperate to make everything work, and if you get everything to work, then everything will be wonderful. This is like the idea, but I do think that, well, look on this side when it comes to like what struggling for abundance under like the almost like the tyranny of the emperor, basically. And this the emperor could be someone that you're in a relationship with, or it could be an idea of how your partner should be. um on that side, we have the Two of Swords and the Four of Cups. So this is like big decisions to be make, dissatisfaction in the relationship. Um, yeah, it's a little bit like, I will say this about dependence and dependent in the personality. I'll say this about dependent personality. They're Well, I'll say this a lot about everything. Until you recognize what's going on, until you're really mindful about what's going on here, it's you're basically living out your dream. I want to say, um, like you are. This is kind of like what you want. And I'm not saying like what you want as in like this is ideal, but this is as like this is what you want because you keep doing it. Um, Not to, victim blame or anything like that, because it does look like you're having a hard time here. I do feel like it's a little bit of like there's a fight and then there's a makeup. There's a fight and then there's a makeup. There's a fight and then there's a makeup. And then there's a lot of like, should I stay or should I go? It's giving very domestic violence type of energy, not to be triggering, but also I don't really care if I trigger you, because I mean you're triggering you by doing it. you know Anyone who's gone through it or whatever, I've talked to lots of people who have gone through an abusive relationship, and they're very, very, very surprisingly open about um, going through that. It makes them feel like strong that they went through that and they survived that. And I think that's what I mean by like you chose to do this. I mean, like, it gives you a little bit of an ego boost, and I think all these personalities are looking for a particular type of ego boost, right? It's easy to say that for the narcissist. I mean, manipulating other people, making them feel bad, um, making them feel ashamed or not good enough. It's all very, it's a narcissistic tool in order to get an ego boost. Now, a dependence tool to get an ego boost is to be around other people who are not ideal, so that they can show how strong and enduring they are with with the strength card here. How strong and enduring they are, um, to deal with someone who is less than like respectful, especially when it comes to a dependent and an antisocial being together. Um, it's very much like, see how well I can handle a beating, you know. um so if you're watching this and you're dependent, how much does that statement resonate with you? And if you base your ego boost on how well you handle pain, then you'll always be chasing forms of pain. So, I do the dependence. I'll do a little bit of a deep dive into dependent personality, just a little bit. But a dependent individual is going to be categorized by their level of agreeability. They're going to be really high in agreeability, so they want to make a relationship work when we're talking about relationships, because that's all we talk about here in the Temple of Aphrodite as of now. As of at some point, we've shifted focus to solely relationships. Now we can squeeze into some familial relationships or some friendship relationships or things like that, but I think what we're going to be talking about here is going to be a romantic relationship. We're just going to focus on that, okay? They're going to be really agreeable, so they're going to want a relationship to work. But they're going to be low in extroversion, so they're going to make a lot of sacrifices to make that work. And that's the problem. All right, that's the problem. And that's why you're in the romantic desperate group and not just simply the romantic group. If you were in the romantic group, you would have higher extroversion, and therefore you wouldn't sacrifice in order to make the relationship work. All right, or you would stand up for yourself when the relationship seems to be like going wrong or hurting you in some type of way. And this is kind of like what this is what I think that we should be focusing on in this situation, is, standing up for yourself and being like, no, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like what's going on here. I never liked it. Honestly, what you should be saying is, okay, I'm going to leave. Okay, I'm going to leave this. Just went through. I'm gonna pull some clarification cards or gratitude cards as I go through this, because my little board here is looking a little blank, and I want to fill it out with some color. But I was just talking about a scenario in which, like, I was watching, like, the scenario that I was watching was a poly relationship, but I think this can be applied to lots of relationships. But one of the things that they're talking about a poly relationship, like what kind of to expect, and it was a little bit like, it was supposed to be like an educational video, right, or like an instructional video, and the scenario was there's this one person who was going to meet a new lover or whatever, spend some time with a new lover, and their current lover was talking about how, like, they're feeling a little bit like uncomfortable, like forms of jealousy or insecurity or anything like that. And the person who was going to meet the new lover or whatever, said that they were going to go see the new lover anyway, and that when they came back, that they were going to spend some time with him to kind of like make up for it, I guess. Which, if you're not really paying attention, it could sound nice, but if you read between the lines, it was very much like this person was like unsatisfied with their relationship, or they felt that the relationship wasn't stable enough for them to, and they wanted to address it. And instead of being like, okay, let's make some time to address it before I go over there, which I think would be reasonable. And I think that it would be reasonable because that relationship means something to them. So, and I think that I always, when you're meeting someone new or you're in a relationship, kind of like try to see what they're doing is benefiting them. Because if you were really like attached to oxytocin level attached to someone, and they said that they were like kind of like sad about what's happening in their relationship, specifically relationship, everything that I'm saying is applied to relationship. But like, say we have like null like neutral people, all right, two neutral people, right? And then the one person is like, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with our relationship right now, and the other person is like, okay, well, I'm gonna go have fun while you do that, and when I come back, then we can talk about it. Wouldn't the like my question is, why is the person who said they're gonna go have fun so sure that the other person is going to still be there when they come back? Like, they're saying that they're not feeling, they feel like something's wrong in the relationship. Why does the person feel so comfortable that there is going to be a conversation afterwards? And I think it's because that person is likely a dependent type of personality, or is portraying a dependent type of energy, and that they know that they are desperate enough to be in the relationship so that they can do whatever they want and then move on. Or they can do whatever they want, and then they don't have to worry about the the structure of their relationship. They don't have to worry about their relationship is going to be over when they get back. And I think that's something to think about. And I think as a dependent individual, like, you're in a relationship and they're doing all this stuff or whatever. Has it ever crossed your mind, like, why aren't they worried that I would leave? Like, they're breaking my stuff, or they're hurting me emotionally or physically, or they're neglecting me in some way or form, or making me feel bad about myself. Why are they not worried that I would leave? You know? And you could come up with two things that might be a little bit, and I think these two things are hurtful, honestly. I think they're hurtful. So if you feel like this is hurting your feelings, or hearing this would hurt your feelings, yeah, that's good. But I think that the reasoning could be is that you don't respect yourself enough to leave when things are hard or bad for you. They don't respect you, and they think that you don't respect yourself. I guess those could to be two different things. Like, if they go do something that is going to make you upset, and you might potentially break up with them later, you might not want to continue this relationship. They don't respect you. They don't respect your relationship. They don't care. They don't care what happens, or they think that you don't respect you. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to flick you off. They don't respect you, or they think that you don't respect yourself, and therefore you'll tolerate terrible things happening to you for long periods of time. These are two conclusions that would be upsetting to anyone, honestly. So if someone doesn't respect you, or doesn't think that you respect yourself, why would you want to be in a relationship with someone with that perspective? Now, you might respect yourself, you might not, I don't know. um, you might think that they respect you. You might. I don't know how you could with all that happening. But yeah, if someone's in a, and I definitely think that in a, not this, one form of relationship isn't better than another. But I think that if the instructional video for a poly relationship is that you're going to make your partner jealous, and that's okay, and you're going to keep on doing you, and when and your partner should be dependent enough to still be there when it's time to have the conversation, then I want to say that they're kind of trying to teach you to be dependent. They're trying to teach you to not respect yourself. And that is a form of that's a form of emotional abuse. Simple as that. Because if they cared about your relationship, they should be concerned that if you bring up a concern and that they don't address the concern, that you're gonna leave. Because that's what you normally do. Like, you know, um, like, I don't know, like, you get a new puppy and your partner kicks your puppy, and you say, hey, don't kick my dog. And they go and kick the dog again. They just do whatever it is that they wanted to do at that moment. you're gonna take the dog and leave, I would hope. Or like, if you well, I think this is kind of crazy because a lot of situations, like, you say you have a kid and they're like abusing your kid in one way or another, and you're like, hey, I don't like how you're treating our kid. They should address that. They shouldn't keep doing it, because if they keep doing it, it means that they're not worried that the relationship is going to be over. They think that the relationship is going to continue even though they're doing harmful things, right? If you feel jealous in your relationship, this is not normal. Okay? I want to tell you, this is not normal. It's definitely not normal. Like, okay, I'm not gonna say this. It might be normal that you feel like jealousy every once in a while. You're like, oh man, I want my person's attention or whatever. But when you go to your partner and say, hey, I want your attention, and they say, no, I'd rather give my attention to something else. What? Well, why are you in a relationship? It's like you're a placeholder. You are there to filter the air like a house plant or something like that. They really, I mean, honestly, I can't think of another way to interpret that. I can't think of another way to interpret that. If you're in a relationship and they rather spend time, like, it could be at work or with their best friend, or another lover, if it's a poly relationship or whatever it is, and yeah, they don't care. They care more about what they want to do when they want to do it, as opposed to your relationship. And any person who values their relationship would be concerned that their relationship will be over if they do not address it. If they do not address the problem, they should be concerned that the relationship is going to be over. And if they're not concerned, they think they have leverage over you. And pull the rug from under their feet. All right? Pull the rug from under their feet. Especially if you've been doing this for a while. Like, say you've been in a married relationship for a very long time or whatever. Actually, you know what? I've seen this happen before, but I won't go into the details of that because I'm not trying to air out anyone's business. But um, you know, they, I don't even know how to continue with that. If you've been in a relationship for a long time and they've been doing a lot of this, like, they, especially when it comes to, is it called infidelity? Cheating? If they cheated on you one time and you let it go or whatever, because you're a much caring person than I am, but or much forgiving, much more patient an individual than I am. But if they cheat and you're like, oh, okay, we all make mistakes, a heat of passion, I guess, blah blah blah. That's that's an interesting mindset. I'm definitely gonna say it's a dependent mindset. I'm gonna definitely say that it's a romantically desperate mindset. Um, if someone cheats on you, yeah, I'm not gonna get into it because you can decide whatever you want to do. Maybe you like that. Maybe that's your kink. Maybe you get off on being cucked. That's cucking. If you don't know. If you don't know what cucking is, look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. They're cucking you, and if that's not your fetish, then that's not consensual. All right. So they're abusing you. All right. When people cheat, that's abuse. They're abusing you. Okay? So when you say, okay, I forgive you for abusing me, you're telling them, okay, you're telling them that they can abuse you again and that there's a chance that you'll allow them to do it. So you're kind of giving them consent in a way. So if that's not really, you have to be mindful of the consent you give. Um, But if they keep doing it, if you've been in the cycle or whatever, so whatever the past happened, all right? We're not here to blame our past, right? We're not mad at ourselves in the past. We're learning, right? So if you've been in a relationship for a long time and it's continuously finding out that this person is with other people. Now, if you're continuously finding out that this person is with other people, like on Monday is this person, on Friday is this person, next week the week after that it was Wednesday, the week after that it was Thursday and Friday, they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose because it invokes a type of emotion out of you. It makes them, it's almost like it's a sign of love from you to be upset and still stay with them. All right. They're getting their love from you by abusing you, which is crazy, which is exceptionally selfish and romantically resistant. Okay, that's romantically resistant. And the same thing, like if it, and that's romantically resistant on the narcissist side. Narcissists are gonna cheat. All right, they're just gonna cheat. They're gonna cheat because it's gonna make you feel some type of way, and it makes them feel like they have some power over you. They're gonna do that. All right, they're gonna do that. They like being able to like they like being able to flaunt a prettier version of you in front of you to make you feel some type of way so that you'll be more dependent on them. But if it's an antisocial individual and they hit you and they're like, oh, it's okay, you know, we have passions or whatever, you're angry, I can sympathize with your anger, whatever, you're telling them that it's okay for them to abuse you physically or sexually or whatever it is. Now, and if you keep letting them, if they do it and you forgive them, if they do it again, you forgive them, if they do it again, they forgive you, that's just you giving is unmindful consent. And like a lot of programming, music, movies will kind of try to teach you that this is passion. It's not passion, it's abuse. Right, it's a big difference. And the same thing with obsessive. This is why they're romantic resistant. If an obsessive is constantly criticizing you and making you feel less than, making you feel like you have to be like no matter what you do, you will always do something wrong, um, then they're abusing you. They're abusing you. And every time you forgive them for criticizing you or not letting go of the past or like just kind of framing you as this person who can't do anything. Like when lots of like 1950s relationships where there's a more like um, domineering feminine and a meek masculine. Not to say that this is wrong, but it needs to be consensual. But when situations like that, and they're always calling their husband like pathetic, a worm, you can never do anything right, you're not a real man, I need a real man. When people say things like that, that's abuse. That's abuse, all right? And if you stay in that situation, you're consenting to being abused. So this is what I'm telling you as a dependent watching this. the if you bring something up to someone and you say, hey, I feel like uncomfortable with this, like say like jealousy thing, like I was talking about in the polyamorous video example. If you say, hey, I'm feeling a little bit like insecure about this, or I'm feeling a little bit like a little bit jealous, or like I kind of want us to spend a little bit more time together or something like that, and they say that they're going to go do whatever it is they're going to do anyway, and that when they come back, that's the part that makes it abuse. When they come back, then they'll talk about it. That's them trying to get you to sign that contract of saying I consent to being abused in this way. That's not normal. That's not right. No one should be continuously going through jealousy. You're not supposed to continuously go through jealousy in your relationship. Now it might be common, but that doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that that's ideal. This doesn't mean that it should be in the relationship. That doesn't mean that you should stay in the relationship just because a lot of people feel that. That's crazy. That's how you use a fact to promote fiction. All right? That's a tactic. All right? That is exactly how you use, and I want to say it again. That's exactly how you use fact to promote a fiction. Um, no, they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do. If they make you feel, if they're doing something that makes you feel jealous, and they don't stop doing that, they're saying, "I'm going to always make you feel jealous." Point blank, point blank. Especially if they say, "Hey, I'm gonna leave you to your jealous feeling, your feelings of jealousy, and I'm gonna go have fun." And then I'm not going to think about you at all and how you feel uncomfortable or upset about what I'm doing. And then I think that I can come back and talk to you and salvage whatever is in a relationship. They're abusing you. Straight, straight, straight. All right? They're abusing you. abusing you. The thing that gets me so mad about it is that it's a video, and look at the levers at the bottom. It's a video to that little video I saw was an instructional video. Like, this is what you might normally deal with in a poly relationship, and this is how you address it. That's no. Here in the Temple of Aphrodite, I don't know where you are or whose temple you're in, but here in the Temple of Aphrodite, this is a big no-no. That's a huge no-no. No. You should not go through continuous cycles of jealousy. And if you're in a relationship that puts you through continuous forms of jealousy, it's a abusive relationship. And to tell other people that this is how it's supposed to go is abusive cult. That's an abusive cult, right? I don't know what other polyamorous videos are out there. I stopped watching them. It's not for me. I think there's some people who are just polyamorous, and there's people who are not, and I'm not, so I stopped watching it. I might watch them more just to get some more education on it, but that's not right. That is not right. That's not right. You don't go through that with your friends. You don't go through that with your family. You don't do that with your sister. You don't do that with your sister. You know, you don't do that. You don't do that. And those are deep. Well, family wise, it's supposed to be a deep oxytocin bond. If you're telling your partner, I don't have a deep oxytocin bond with you, and so you going off to have a dopamine experience with somebody else is making me uncomfortable, then that's your sign that you should just not be part of that relationship. You should just, so when you see, if you feel that if someone tries to tell you that's how it's supposed to be, then they're trying to tell you to be okay with abuse. And if they're trying to tell you to be okay with abuse because it's just how this relationship works, then that's a cult, a bad cult, not even a good cult, because there's good cults, all right? That's not a good one. That's a bad one. That's a one that doesn't care about your feelings. That's the one that doesn't care about your feelings. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about your feelings. So if you're dependent, you might be going through a lot of that type of, like, the disregarding, the physical pain, or the humiliation or degradation. That's not that. Leave all that stuff for, like, playtime. Leave all that stuff for your kinks and your fetishes. Leave all that to, like, a specific time, place with a safe word. So when it's like, no, that's too much. I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm getting triggered. I need some time to emotionally regulate. And then, so you need the relationship to return to a nurturing one, then yeah, you need that. If your relationship has no escape into a nurturing situation, then, like, again, if your fetish is being cucked, then your fetish is being cucked, and I'm not talking to you, all right? But I'm talking to the people who do not like being cucked, who don't want to be cucked, and is forced into a relationship to be cucked, all right? Mm-mm. 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 And it doesn't matter. It really, how good could that person be? How good could that person be that you would want to stay with them? It really depends. It really depends on your level of desperation for that relationship to work. That's what it is. It depends on your level of desperation, because the other person's not putting in the work to make sure that the relationship sticks, and the easiest way they could do it is by respecting your boundaries and not crossing them just because they feel like it. Them going over to meet someone new in the relationship they're with you, already solidified, committed relationship, like you're living together in a house. At least in this scenario, they were living together in a house. I guess you don't have to be, but if it's a level of commitment and they're like, hey, I'm going to do this thing anyway, even though we're supposed to talk about things when things get rough before we go and do the thing that's making the situation rough. Yeah, getting a little passionate about that. But I'm gonna read off well, first of all, we had the levers here at the bottom of the deck. Can't show them for too long because they're a little naked, a little in a little not dressed appropriate. No, well, not dressed at all, actually. So this is overall, like, again, this is like, you might be, and I do think a lot of dependent people stay in relationships. Um, it might be a little bit hard for them to be out of a relationship because they're really desperate for a relationship. You gotta not be desperate for a relationship. That's the only way. That's the only way. You need someone to step up to the plate like you step up to the plate. If you're putting in more work in all your look at your relationships. If you put in more work in all your relationships and all you did was like accept being hurt, that's a thing. That's a thing. That when someone tells you that your jealousy is your problem, you need to like hold on to that. You need to like I'm not gonna deal with that at all. I'm gonna go off and do whatever it is that's making you feel like it's just kind of crazy. It's just kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. It's just kind of crazy. And I feel like, well, I do think that a lot of relationships deal with that. Like the scenario in which you both have a kid and one of the parents is abusing the child and the other person stays in the relationship and has the kids stay in the family environment like that. That's that's romantic desperate energy. That's very dependent energy. And so like we can talk about dependent energy and be like, "Aw, poor thing, you're being like abused and stuff like that." But that can like if you don't take accountability for that, you can involve other people in the abuse, and therefore you're also abusing them. Like the parent that doesn't say anything when the other parent is abusing the kid is also abusing the kid. All right, you as a dependent watching this video for advice or whatever, you need to realize that your spectrum can get so far into disorder where you are secondhand abusing other people. It's very, very important to understand. That's very, very important to understand. Especially if you can have kids, when without any type of like scientific intervention or anything like that. It's really, and then that's a lot of this also stems with a patriarchal type of systematic abuse, which is also another cult, which another bad cult, where like getting a woman pregnant and is making them dependent, or like when we say like women can't have like if when women couldn't have rights to vote or didn't have couldn't get jobs or they would be frowned upon in society if they weren't married, like that spinster type of energy. All of these are tactics to get those born into a feminine body to be dependent on those born in a masculine body, or who identify as male or who promote the patriarchy basically. There's lots of people, lots of men will get women pregnant. I guess you can identify as anything, especially on the woman's side. What I'm considering the women's side, you could be trans, you could be trans male, you could be cis woman, you could be non-binary. But if you have a uterus and that can you can have a kid, lots of people lots of, I guess they could have any type of gender too. Anyone who can like produce sperm and put a baby in you can use that as a tack to make you dependent. Because where are you gonna go? Especially if the society doesn't support you being alone or autonomous. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? That's very much the attitude. Like, from the abusive partner, who tends to have a penis. Tends to. We had a whole timeline of people who could just do this, and in like that red pill thing, or like the academy where they teach you how to rape your wives or whatever. That was that whole big thing, or the Epstein files or whatever it is. There's a whole culture of teaching other people with penises to try to do this to people with vaginas. They try to do this. Try to do this. Try to get other people to make other people dependent. Try to promote a culture of one person is dependent and can't do anything without the other person. Like, Like the whole housewife thing, or like the male housewife thing too. Very similar, very, very similar. Um, Trying to get you in some way dependent so that they can do whatever they want to you, because where are you going to go? And so this is like, if you're watching this as a dependent, you need to understand that you need to have somewhere else to go. You need to have somewhere else to go. You need to be able to stand on your own two feet, whether it's a lower status thing. And like people will do that too. Like, if the abusive person is rich, they'll say like, well, I got all the money, or you're not gonna get a cent out of me, or whatever is that thing is that they sign for divorces or whatever. And so like one of the people doesn't get, one of the people in the marriage don't get money after the divorce or whatever it is, but they were like a housewife or a house husband or house person for that whole time. um all of that is like and some people will really abuse that type of reality. But anyway, um what was I saying? Like they'll use money over your head because like you'll be on the street and blah blah blah, or they'll use your appearance and be like, who would like you? You look like this. Or especially like if they like overfeeding you could be is a thing too. I'm sure they do it, like, and especially parents will do this to kids and be like, you can't go, who's gonna take you in, eat them out of house and home type of energy. This is There's so many forms of abuse out there. There's just so many forms of abuse out there. It's honestly out of control, and I think that we need to start doing something about it. And I think that the first thing that we need to start doing about it is we need to encourage dependents to be autonomous. Save your dependent personality for playtime, so for some type of structure. Do not let this be your whole entire life. You will be continuously abused. And if you can have kids just without any scientific, or if you're tricked into having kids, whether it's adoption or what's it called when you have someone else carry the baby? You know what I'm saying? But don't have a baby. Actually, you know what? Everyone stop having babies. Stop having babies that's the quickest way to get you trapped. That's the quickest way to get you trapped. So if you're dependent and you can carry a baby, don't have a baby. Do whatever you can. Get those tubes tied. Get um, a hysterectomy, right? Is that what it's called when you take everything out? Do that. I swear to you, I swear to you, I swear to you. As soon as you have a kid, it's over for you. It's over for you. Do you think the struggles are hard now? Imagine when you have to think for someone else, and someone who can't defend themselves. It's gonna get immensely hard. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Unless you know that you have to spend time. And I know there's a biological clock and stuff like that, but they use that too to get you pregnant and get you dependent on someone else. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that. If you don't have kids, you don't have kids. There's so many people in the world, and there's so many kids that need a loving person to take care of them. There's so many orphanages and what's it called? There's a type of system where you go into when you have nowhere else to go. Foster care. There's so many foster people that need people to take care of them, like, who would love a parent, Some of them are going to be a little bit on the romantically resistant area, so they can be abusive later on too. And I know that's scary, and I don't want to scare you or anything, but this is why it's really, really, really important to understand personalities. This is why I think personality should be taught at a far younger age. Everyone needs to know personalities. You need to be able to spot a personality. And I know like people will be like, oh, you're, what's it called? Um, when you categorize people just by looking at them, profiling people. Okay, right. We want to avoid profiling people wrong. We want to avoid doing it the wrong way. But we need to identify people. We do. We need to. We can't keep on giving everyone we can't keep on giving everyone a chance. Some people you can't give a chance to, but there's just too many people getting one chance, two chances, three chances, four. You know, like it's like as if it's a Dr. Seuss type of book. Like no, 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 no. You need like if you are thinking of abusing someone, you should be scared shitless that someone will figure that out. That's how the world should be. You should be scared. You should be scared of isolation. You should be scared of um, never having a interaction with anyone at all. You need to be afraid of being ostracized or excommunicated. You need to be afraid of being kicked out of the village. You need to be scared shitless. You need to be so scared that if you do it, you should be pissing your pants. You should be so scared that you have to confess. You should be scared. You should be scared. Frightened. Horror. Pure terror. I'm serious. Serious. Anywho, I didn't even read these little gratitude cards or whatever, confirmation cards. But I mean we got the Six of Pentacles, so this is very giving energy. We need to stop doing that, okay? We need to stop giving this energy to people who don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. You think you're giving them a chance, just like what I said about stable personalities. They'll do this too. They'll be like, oh, we just need to be patient and understand them, and blah, blah. You're the captain of your own ship and whatever. That might be true. But just because you're captain of your own ship doesn't mean you get to steer my ship too. All right? We need to stop giving people our time, our energy, our resources, ourselves. We need to stop doing that. We need to stop doing that. All right? Not just you, all of us. We all need to stop doing this. We all need to stop doing this. Because if you're doing it for someone who like, and you want to be like, oh, you had a hard childhood and stuff like that. Okay. We all have struggles. All right? We all have struggles. That doesn't mean we're all doing the same thing. That'd be crazy. How come some people have a bad childhood and they go around killing 20 people? And then some people have a bad childhood and they go and save 20 people by being a doctor or a nurse or a counselor or something like that. I don't see what happened there. I don't see what happened there. Stop giving chances to people who are going to continuously hurt people. No, I don't care what you went through. I don't give a shit. I don't give two shits or three. I don't. And then we also have the Fool here, which, you know, don't be one. Don't be one. They're not going to change, because why would they change? If you're going to keep allowing them to do it, why would they change? What's the incentive to change? The only incentive to change is that you're going to stop giving them what they want. That's it. And that's usually just your time, your socialization. They need to be scared that you're going to kick them out of the village. They need to be scared that they're going to get kicked out of village. If it's a natural thing and they just can't help it, and which is, I'm making it all sound all pitiful, which is fucking stupid. But if they can't help it and they just need to take their anger out on people and, you know, make them feel bad or criticize them so they never reach their full potential, no, they need to get kicked out. They don't need to do that. And if they need to do that, then they need to do that in the woods. They need to do that in the woods not in the village. I mean, hey, whoever goes out in the wood and becomes their victim, I guess. I stay out of the wood, I guess. No, I don't know. We're not doing that. No, you don't need to hurt other people. You want to hurt other people, and there's no punishment. There's no withdrawing of the reward. And that's what I mean by punishment. Like, not go and hurt them, not go drag them out and burn them at the stake. No, we're not doing a witch hunt now. We're not doing that. That's not what we're doing, all right? That's also wrong. That's also very, very fucking wrong. What we're doing is we're just not giving to those people. You can't come over here to the bakery. We're not serving you. I heard what you did to so-and-so. I'm not doing it. And not only did I hear what you did to so-and-so, but I saw it myself. I saw you do the same thing to someone else too. We're not serving you. All right? They want to come over to the gym. I'm sorry, we don't have any equipment for you. All right? We heard that you hit someone. I saw you hit someone in the parking lot. No. Nope. No. Access denied, right? Access denied. We also have the Wheel of Fortune, and like, this is not random chance. I'm gonna break my own neck saying this, but everyone knows exactly what they're doing. Everyone knows exactly what they're doing. You know how, like, and I can say this to you as a dependent, you know how you'll sit in your room and you'll think about, was I wrong? Was I being narcissistic? How would I know if I'm a narcissist? Because you ask yourself that. That's how you know that you're not. That's how you know that you're not. If you ask yourself, am I being narcissistic right now? Or did I do something wrong? Or what could I have done to make this situation better? You're not. You're not in the romantic resistant category. You're not. Only a narcissist, only antisocial, only an obsessive will do something wrong, hear they did something wrong, and move on with their life. When you wonder how people sleep at night doing the things they do, they sleep like a baby because that's exactly what they wanted to do. They sleep like a baby because no one's going to kick them out of the village. That's how. That's how. Right? These are not random chances. This is not a fit of passion. This is who they are. All right? This is who they are because you already knew it. Their parents already told you. Their siblings already told you. Their friends already told you. Everyone's trying to warn you. All right? Don't give these people a chance. Whether male, female, trans, non-binary, whoever it is, no one can hide behind their facade, their physical self, or their clothing. All right? I don't care who you. It's just like the Weapons movie. Just because she looked all cool and pretty and fun doesn't mean that she's not gonna snap a neck or snap a stick and have you snap someone's neck. All right? That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's not. It's not by chance. It's not an accident. It's not you slipped at age 45 and you just, hit somebody. No, 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 no. And I'm not saying hold people to their past, but if they did it in the present and they have a history, it means it's not history, it's their current life. Okay? That's it. You need to prove that you're reformed or whatever that means. We need that you're not. There's plenty of ways that people like. If you have a history, doesn't mean that you actually did it. All right. First of all, people get accused of things all the time that they never did. Right. If you're doing it currently and you have a history of accusations, that's truth. That's truth. Right. That's truth. That's truth. And if you can find a pattern of thinking, like they contemplated this, especially when it comes to the narcissist, that's it. That's it. And then with the high priestess, trust your intuition, guys. Trust your intuition. If you think that this person, if you are giving someone a chance because you saw someone hurt someone, if you saw someone hurt someone and they give you a sob story about how, like, I don't know what happened. I just blacked out. You know, I, they really just, they really got me. They really made, well, I don't know if these examples are pretty good because I think that some people could say this and that actually be true. But if you catch someone hurt someone physically, that's their reaction to being overwhelmed. Okay, if you don't think that you're going to overwhelm them, you're crazy. You think kind of highly of yourself, and thinking that you could be small. It's a crazy way to think highly of yourself. You think so highly of yourself that you think you could be small enough to not trigger that person. You're just the next target. You're just the next target. Man, that was a lot. That was a lot. Yeah, if you're watching this and you're dependent and you're currently in a relationship and they are emotionally abusing you, verbally abusing you, or physically abusing you, leave. Don't know what to tell you. Other than that, leave. And you might feel like, you invested so much into this. Yeah, you invested so much into hurting yourself. And okay, so if you want to keep hurting yourself, then you want to keep hurting yourself. That's fine. That's totally fine. I'm not going to tell you can't hurt yourself. It's your body, your choice. All right? But if you're coming here to Snowfield Charm School, to the Temple of Aphrodite, to talk to me, to talk to me, then I'm gonna, you wanted this romantic advice, right? Leave. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you think whatever it's going to do to you can't be worse than getting beat up every day. You have no one to turn to. And if you do actually have no one to turn to, you were a target a long time ago. A long time ago. Never, and I'll say this too, never, ever, 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 ever tell anyone that you don't have anyone on your side. If you do and they're the wrong person, they will use that against you. Right? Never, ever, ever. You always have a friend. You always have family member. You have 5. All right? Always have 5. All right? Always. If they say, hey, what were you doing today? Be like, hey, I was just texting my cousin. We're so close, blah, blah, blah. Make it up. I don't care. This is the one lie I'm going to let you do. All right? I don't believe in lying. I don't believe in cheating. And I don't believe in stealing. I've done all these things before, all right? But I'm not doing this. I'm not, well, what can I say about that? It gets you, I'll say this, you can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you to not do stuff, all right? You can do whatever you want, but I'm telling you, it gets you into sticky situations, all right? Sticky, like Quagmire, sticky, all right? You can lie, you can cheat, you can steal all you want. It's funny to say, it's funny to say because we humorize these behaviors, but do it with caution, because yeah, do it with caution. Well, one thing about lying is that you always have to keep it up. No, I guess I won't say that. Let me take that back. Let me take all that back. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. All right. If you did it in the past, you did it in the past. Stop doing it. All right. If you don't stop doing it, you'll run the risk of being kicked out of the village. All right. Don't lie. If you do not have anybody in your life right now who you trust to take care of you emotionally, physically, mentally, then you're not ready for a relationship. All right? You need the support. You need it. You need it. You need it. You need it. You need to go to you need to go somewhere to find some friends. A club, back to school, a paint and sip, I don't know what, it goes to the park, make a friend, and again, and also learn about personality. It's gonna save you. It's gonna save you. It's gonna save you. It's gonna save you. Especially if you're dependent, it's gonna save you. You're a target. Not to be all fear mongering or whatever, but everyone's a target because everyone believes that everyone could be forced into dependent mode. You need to get out of dependent mode. Or be in it and just enjoy the continuous fetish lifestyle. Okay, just put your gimp suit on and keep it going. All right. And then there's plenty of people, like I guess I shouldn't be. I'm sorry. I be dogging people a lot, and I don't mean to. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Um, I'm sorry. If you would like, let me take it back. Let me not take everything back I said, but I'm gonna come down. I guess I got triggered. Sorry about that. I got triggered. I got triggered. My bad. I didn't mean to make you feel a type of way about a personality if you wish to keep it. Now, if you wish to keep your dependency, then again, then you can. Like, there's plenty of people who will, like the romantic resistance will actually, you know what, I think that the romantic desperate and the romantic resistance are kind of like a good pair if you want to keep that energy. Oh, I wish I started with this. I am so sorry. I'm trying not to fix people. That's like, it's kind of like the romantic in me, and I'm just trying to fix people because it's what I would want to hear, because I don't want to be in that situation. But just because I don't want to be in the situation doesn't mean that you don't want to be in the situation. Now, if you want to be in that situation and you want to be dependent and you want to be like, um, used and abused in that way, that's, I can only think of it as a fetish, but that's probably just me. Maybe that's the only way that I find that energy to be acceptable in my scope. I live in a bubble myself, and I'm sorry for the little switch, the mode switch. Sorry about that. Um, but I live in a bubble myself. So the advice I give is a lot for, you know, and like I said before, like, when you watch my videos, you're entering the temple of Aphrodite. And here in Aphrodite, we promote romance. So not desperate romance, or not the resistance to romance, or the lack of romance. We embrace romance. And if you would like to stay in a desperate form of romance, of course that's perfectly fine to choose to do. Of course, it's, again, like, it's your body, it's your choice. You can do whatever you like with your life. All right, I'm not saying that. I'm not going to say that you can't. Um, so if you're coming here for advice of like what should I do if I want to stay independent energy, then I would say that finding a narcissist personality, an antisocial personality, or an obsessive personality will help to emphasize these aspects about you. Okay? Um, you'll notice a narcissist by love bombing and emotional withdrawal, or them trying to make you jealous of other people. If you talk to them for a little bit, and they show you a picture of someone who is hot in your same like category, whether it's male, female, trans, non-binary, whatever it is. If they show a picture and they're like, oh, don't you just love this person's style, I think they're so beautiful, or whatever, you should do something like this, or whatever. That's how you're going to know you have a narcissist, so you can be like, yes, found one. This is someone who's going to make me feel bad about my image, and make me dote over them without giving me anything in return. That's something that some people look for. If you're looking for antisocial, they're going to be really blatant. Just go somewhere where there's rules, and you'll see them break them, and you'll be like, yes, finally, I found someone who's going to like, choke me out for no reason at all, or give me a black eye that I have to explain to my friends and family later on. Then you can be like, yeah, good, got that, perfect. An obsessive, you're gonna see them by how hard they work. They're gonna be super uptight about their image and their reputation. Um, Everything is going to be at the end of the world, and everything has to be just the way that they want it, and they're going to tell you, so it's going to be a little bit easy to find them. And then you can be like, yes, perfect, awesome, I found someone who's going to not think that I'm of any real value because of my personhood, and it's only based on what I can do for them. They're going to criticize me in front of other people and make me feel lesser than, so they can feel better. All the romantic resistant personalities will do this, so you can celebrate when you found them. Yeah. I'm so sorry again. Please excuse me. I get very passionate about some things, and I have I mean, I guess I do. I guess, well, I'm in the romantic category, and they can fluctuate. Like, all, and again, like, these things, like the romantic resistant, all those personalities can fall into each other. A narcissist can still hit you. Antisocial can still want things to be perfect. An obsessive person can still can play with your emotions. They can do all, they can, they kind of blend into each other. It's a group for a reason. They kind of fall into each other. And as a romantic, I fall mostly in histrionic, but I can fall a little bit into the borderline. So I want to, save you, fix you, basically. And I know that that can be seen as rude, and I'm very sorry about that. I don't mean to let that um, I don't want that to be a form of control over your autonomy. You're allowed to do whatever you want, okay? Um, so so yeah. If you are in this energy and you feel like that's wrong and you want to be a little bit more into the romantic energies where it's the social personality, the borderline personality, and histrionic personality. Now, social, it seems really, really great. The bad part about being social is that you can be a little bit unfocused, right? It's a little bit like ADHD, but that's ADHD is something you can't turn off, and um, uh, the social personality type is something that you can like kind of phase in and out of if you want to. You can make decisions to change yourself for that. So that's the difference between the two. Borderline has a bad reputation, so this can, the bad representation, I'll just reiterate, is they can be really explosive if they feel like they're being disregarded or rejected. Um, well, mostly disregarded or unappreciated. The good thing, though, about them is that they are very attentive and they'll move mountains for you if they think that'll better the relationship. Very similar to dependent energy. Um, but they're also similar to avoidant energy, where they'll get a little, well, actually no, a little bit more into dependent energy. The narcissist, or not narcissist, the histrionic, also has like kind of a little bit of bad reputation, and I'll reiterate that with being like super vain and self-involved. Hey, I claim it. But the good thing is that you can be very accepting, appreciative of other people's existence. You're not controlling anybody. You're so self-involved that you're not telling other people who to be or how to act. I try to do that. That the little borderline in me kind of gets into like, okay, well, you came to me for advice, so now I'm gonna fix you, type of energy. And that can be taken the wrong way if it's just kind of thrown on you. So I don't mean to throw it on you, but if you're here for a it's like I kind of do like an emotional makeover a little bit. Um, yeah. So yeah, if you want to fall into these things, like if you want to be like, I think some of the highlights is if you want to be all showy and confident and have like be able to talk to anybody. I feel like those it covers the three. That's a romantic essence. If you want to be showy and confident and be able to talk to anybody, then I would take my advice. If or anyone like me, I would take anyone who's like me advice. I would take anyone. If you want to be something, take the advice from the people who are already like that. Okay. Um, or don't, whatever you want to do. But yeah, if you want to be more into the romantic group, then I would say don't accept anyone treating you in any way that you wouldn't want a loved one to be treated. If you heard that someone was treating someone like this, well, I don't know. I guess it depends. You might be okay with that, but depending on who you are. But I would say if you want to be in the romantic category, don't settle for less, right? Don't settle for less. You just, if you want to be in the romantic category, you have to believe that you're a person of value and that your time, your energy, and your resources are valuable. And so you can't allow abuse to happen. Um, but yeah, do what makes you happy. You're the captain of your own ship. All right. I'm not the captain of your ship. All right. I might think that I'm the best navigator in the whole ocean. And I do. And I do. But that doesn't mean I know how to work your particular ship. Your ship's different than mine, Your the rudders are stuck in a way that's different than the way that my rudders are stuck, or your sails unfurl in an awkward way that's different than how my sails unfurl in an awkward way. I'm used to my ship, and you are probably used to yours too. So use your discernment. Your perspective is just as valuable as mine. Talk about your story. I would love to hear about it. I listen to lots of other people on YouTube, especially tarot card readers. Or like, actually lots of people actually. Not just tarot card readers, but I try to take on the things that resonate with me, and I encourage you to do the same thing. If you don't want to do that, then that's totally your choice, and I completely respect it. Do whatever you want to do. Don't. I'm too. I got a mirror. I got a mirror, and that means I have entertainment. If I don't like what you're doing, I'm just gonna go look at myself. Okay, right. I hope that you enjoy the video. If you didn't enjoy the video, then that's your choice, and I completely respect it. I hope that you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. If you do not wish to have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, then that's totally your choice, and I completely respect it. Okay, guys, until next time, I'll see you.